Nothing, and I mean nothing, has brought me more joy lately than watching the Walt Disney Company scramble in full-blown panic mode. And who do we have to thank for that? South Park. Because as usual, they've taken aim directly at Disney's so-called woke agenda, ruthlessly mocking the company's obsession with race swapping, gender swapping, and injecting modern ideologies into every single classic story they touch. This time, the creators of South Park have dropped a brand new special event, Into the Panderverse, and it's exactly what you'd expect from them. All your favorite South Park characters, Cartman, Stan, Butters, Kenny, have been reimagined as adult women of color, purely to mock what Disney's been doing to its most iconic characters. It's satire turned up to 11, and it hits hard. The real target here? Disney's upcoming remake of Snow White, starring none other than Rachel Zegler, a Latina actress cast as a character literally named for her skin being as white as snow. Naturally, this has sparked major controversy, but it's not just the casting that has fans furious. It's everything that's come out of Rachel Zegler's mouth since she got the role. She's made it painfully clear that she isn't a fan of the original Snow White, and she's taken every opportunity to talk down to the source material. In interview after interview, her tone comes across as dismissive, sarcastic, and honestly, ungrateful. She's publicly joked about how she deserves to be paid more just for wearing the dress, and has mocked the very idea of the film being a love story. Apparently, in this new version, the prince might as well be completely erased, and Zegler sees that as a good thing. Fans don't. In fact, a huge chunk of the backlash isn't even about her ethnicity, it's about her attitude. She's made it seem like the original story was some sort of outdated disaster, and that only this new hyper-modern, ultra-feminist version is valid. But here's the thing. Snow White wasn't broken. It didn't need to be fixed, and completely rewriting it to remove its heart, the love story, the prince, the whimsy, feels less like progress and more like disrespect. On top of that, Disney also completely removed the Seven Dwarfs from the story, another core part of what made the original so beloved. Instead, they've inserted a bunch of random characters with zero explanation, all to avoid offending anyone, and somehow they still manage to offend everyone. What South Park has done is hold up a mirror to all of this. They've exaggerated the changes Disney's making to show how ridiculous it all seems when taken to the extreme. And guess what? It works. The satire lands perfectly. South Park doesn't care who they offend. They've mocked both sides of the political spectrum for decades. But this time, Disney feels especially targeted, and it's easy to see why. It's not the first time South Park has gone after them either. Back in 2022, they released Streaming Wars, where they poked fun at Hollywood's obsession with content over quality, and before that, they mocked Disney's handling of Star Wars and even turned Mickey Mouse into a villain. So yeah, they've been on Disney's radar for a while, but Into the Panderverse might just be the most brutal takedown yet. What makes it hit even harder is the message behind the mockery. South Park is calling out the fact that just changing the race or gender of a character doesn't automatically equal diversity. It's shallow, it's lazy, and when it's done without any real thought or reason, it ends up feeling like nothing more than a corporate checkbox. That's not inclusion, that's pandering. The irony is that Disney could easily be creating original stories with diverse characters and new ideas, but instead, they keep recycling the same old IP and slapping a modern twist on it, thinking that's enough. But people are starting to see through the gimmick. It's not about representation, it's about optics. Rachel Zegler's constant defense of these changes and her dismissive attitude toward fans of the original has only added fuel to the fire. People don't want to feel like the stories they grew up with are being erased or twisted into something unrecognizable, especially when the new version feels like it's wagging a finger at them for liking the old one. At the end of the day, fans aren't upset because Snow White is changing. They're upset because the core of the story is being thrown out in favor of hollow messaging. They're upset because the people behind the remake don't seem to care about the story. They care about the headlines. And that's exactly what South Park is exposing. A studio more focused on scoring social points than telling timeless stories. The choice to cast Rachel Zegler wasn't the issue. It was the intent behind it, and the execution that followed. From the bizarre interviews to the removal of beloved elements, it all screams out-of-touch decision-making from people who think audiences will just blindly accept whatever they're given. But clearly, they won't. So whether you love or hate South Park, you have to admit, they nailed the hypocrisy here. Into the Panderverse is a brutal, hilarious takedown of Hollywood's worst instincts. And if Disney's rattled, good. Maybe they'll finally take the hint. What do you think? Is South Park justified in going after Disney and Rachel Zegler? Or is it too harsh? Drop your thoughts below, and don't forget to check out the next video. You won't want to miss it.